Unicorn Grocery is a whole food grocery shop in a suburb of Manchester. It was founded in 1996. I'm not going to try and pretend I was there in 1996. I've been part of the co-op for 8 years now. So being a cooperative, whatever form that takes, is quite a distinct and quite a radical way of organising a business that combines democracy and member control within the organisation with social goals outside of it. And for us as a worker co-op, it essentially means that the business is owned and controlled by the people who work in the shop, the members of the co-op. There are no outside shareholders, executives or absentee owners. Cooperatives also generally tend to have less hierarchical structures than conventional businesses, and we are very much that way. Like Suma rather, we have a flat pay and power structure. So roughly, basically, we're talking about equal pay for equal say. Like Suma, we all multitask. There's a reason co-ops choose to multitask. It's flipping brilliant. We don't get bored. And at Unicorn, we're not only workers and managers, we're also all the directors of the business. So our jobs consist of everything from shop floor tasks, serving the customers, stocking the shelves, right through to steering the sort of strategic development of the business. So my day might start with opening the deli counter and serving customers on there, moving on to working on our marketing strategy or working on the website, and finishing with cleaning the toilets. It really is varied. This unusual and radical way of organising, however, doesn't mean that we're any less of a serious business entity than any other kind of company, and that's true for all co-ops, as you've heard from everybody. We are a fairly large mainstream shop. We have a turnover of over £4 million these days, and a workforce of around 48 members at present, with some casual staff as well. We are competing with the major supermarkets. That is our competition, the Tesco's, the Asda's, that kind of thing. Ever more so these days as they dip in and out of things like organics and whole foods. And we take as seriously as they do things like profit, prices, efficiency, cash flow. We have very different motivations for doing what we do, but we know if we don't stay on top of those things, we won't be around to keep on having those ethics. So I just wanted to emphasise that to start with. So, this is what the shop looked like in the early days. It was pretty basic, but it did the job. This was around maybe a year or so after we started. We started in 1996, and we were founded by a group of people who wanted a different way to shop, a better way than in the supermarket, ideally, and they created a place where they would like to shop in themselves, where really good quality, healthy, tasty food was sold at honest prices, competitive with the supermarkets on a like-for-like basis, and a shop where products were sold with a bit more care about where they'd come from, how they were produced, how they impacted on people and the environment. So we sell a similar range of things to what you'd find in the supermarket, apart from we don't sell animal products. But as well as that, we source things very differently. So our fruit and veg is all organic and it's unpackaged. It's sourced as locally as possible. Our household products are environmentally sound. Our drinks, our teas and coffees are fair trade, and so on. We're able to offer really good prices to our customers because, unlike your typical kind of health food shop on the high street, we buy in really large quantities. So we get things by the pallet load where we can, buying direct from the manufacturer in bulk, and passing those savings on to our customers. So the idea had come about in 1994. A group of about 6 people with varying backgrounds came together with this shared vision. The main driving force at the time was Adam York. He's the guy in the pale pink shirt. And there he is about 10 years later, looking quite weary but still smiling, just about. Finding a premises was something that took us a very long time. We eventually settled on this place. It's a lovely building. We didn't occupy anything like all of that site in the early days, and I'll come to that in a moment. In terms of suppliers, early suppliers included wholesalers like Suma, but we also went direct to a lot of manufacturers. As I mentioned, these are some of the growers that we've been dealing with pretty much from the beginning. We buy pretty much all our UK fruit and veg direct from farmers. Again, meaning we have a very close, honest relationship with them, and we can offer good prices because there's no middlemen involved. We started with about £47,500 startup capital. Now this came in the form of loans rather than grants. It came from a specialist lender that we have very luckily in the UK called Cooperative and Community Finance, and we also raised a significant amount of money using something called loan stock, which is something, a way of raising money from your potential customers and supporters. You pay it them back at a fixed rate of interest. And I think we raised about £30,000 from loan stock. The first year's turnover was about £80,000, and by the third year that had grown to £500,000. This was far faster than we had anticipated, and in fact our growth has been faster than we anticipated right the way along. There has been a huge appetite for what we provide, not only in our local catchment area but further afield as well, and we even find that people move into our area to be close to our shop, which is a crazy thought, but they do. These days we're growing at about 10% year on year. This is through, pretty tough economic times. I'm hearing this again and again from all the co-ops that are here today, and I think Tiziana pointed out the cooperative economy in the UK has outperformed the conventional economy for the past 4 years, so we're not alone. Why have we succeeded? Well, as well as the obvious attraction that we're selling really great food at great prices, I think a key part of our development has been the relationship we have with our customers. For many of them, we're not just a shop. We have put a lot of time and effort into kind of communicating why we trade the way we do, why it's different, what being a co-op means, and trying to deepen our customers' understanding of the issues around food and trade that we are dealing with ourselves. And so for a lot of them, there's a lot of commonality and solidarity between us and our customers, and I don't think many conventional shops could claim to have that relationship. But echoing what Stuart said before, that isn't alone a reason to come and shop with us. People wouldn't shop with us just because they liked our ethics. They like what we sell as well. And that was very nicely recognised. In 2008, we won both the Observer newspaper and the BBC Radio 4 Farming Awards for Best Local Retailer. That wasn't because we were a co-op, although personally I would definitely say it contributed to how good we are, but it was, from their point of view, it was because we're a really good business selling really good food. So, all this growth over the years has driven a lot of change. We've grown from 4 members on our opening day to around 48 today. And of course, we've had to change our structure to reflect that. We can't meet together and make all our decisions together anymore as we did in the early days. Instead, there are now teams which kind of run each area of the business. So we have a buying team, a human resources team, a deli team, a fresh produce team, and so on. And those teams communicate through team representatives, which provide communication and accountability between all the teams. So we now meet as a membership just 3 times a year, plus a visioning session. But the members' meetings, I've just noticed someone looking slightly sulky in the foreground. I'm sure it's only because he doesn't like having his picture taken. We meet those 3 times a year for strategic and policy decisions, so the things that really affect the whole business and the direction that we're going in. And then we have a visioning session as well as that to think a bit more creatively about what we're doing. What hasn't changed, though, is the way we can all participate in the control of our business, and it's still completely democratic, and every member can participate equally. And I think the level of ownership we all feel as members couldn't be matched in a conventional business. Even today, with our growth and with the kind of slightly more remoteness from all the decision making, ask any member what our turnover was last week, or what our sales per hour was last week, or how the new deli extension is coming on, and they will be able to tell you. There's a bit more work involved, I have to say, in keeping everybody at that level of involvement, but we're still managing it. We also look after ourselves really well. We're able to do things like, I don't know, little quirky touches, like having a lot of us cycle to work. Unicorn pays a bike mechanic to come in once a fortnight and fix our bikes for us while we're at work. We get a shop discount, 20% off. We have a paid sabbatical every 5 years, and we pay ourselves a bonus as members if we perform particularly efficiently in any quarter. So I would say that that leaves most of us to feeling pretty happy. There's some nice happy workers. We are motivated, we want the business to succeed for many reasons, and we feel valued and respected most of the time. Working cooperatively isn't just good for us, I don't think, it's good for the business as well. Decisions, although they can take a little bit longer to make, I would be lying if I said that wasn't the case, are not ignored when they come to be carried out. It's not a passive workforce that's completely divorced from that decision-making process. We make the decisions, then we put them into practice ourselves. We're also efficient. I believe we have a higher sales per square metre figure than the supermarkets do. We have low sickness levels compared to the retail sector average, and we retain staff far longer. It's also much easier for the business to stick to its goals and head with a common purpose in the same direction. And that has been put to the test sometimes. We had a huge challenge back in 2002 when the business that we were renting for the shop was suddenly put up for sale with very little notice. The owners decided they wanted to sell it to the highest bidder, basically. We had to choose between relocating our entire business and potentially taking a massive hit in terms of customer numbers, disruption, all sorts, or taking the enormous step of buying £1 million site, which we only occupied a very small part of at the time. And they were the choices. So the membership came together in a series of very intense meetings, took the gamble of buying the building. And that was a decision that every member was involved in collectively, came to a consensus decision about it and moved forward with a big gulp, I imagine. I wasn't there at the time, but quite a frightening step. But it paid off. 4 years later, we had moved into the whole building. We'd moved in to fill this entire site, and we're now on our fourth extension to that site. So it's certainly a gamble that paid off, and something that really demonstrated that ability for a group of people to come together and work with a common purpose. Another development was our purchase in 2009 of 21 acres of farmland just outside the city of Manchester. And this is something that, again, the membership came together and collectively decided to do. We wanted to increase the amount of local organic vegetables that we could sell in our shop, so we bought some farmland and helped a new cooperative of growers get off the ground. This is Mossbrook Growers, and they're at the moment just a 3-person cooperative, although they are hoping to expand. And finally, we've been able to develop to support more like-minded projects, and I suppose that's why I'm here today. We've always tried to support other co-ops get off the ground, giving advice, having people to visit us, coming and speaking at events like this. But 2 years ago, we solidified that by publishing a very comprehensive guide to our business model, Grow a Grocery. It basically sets out everything that we do and how we do it and why. And that is freely available on our website for anybody to use, and it includes things like policies and principles and business plans and all sorts of things that might be useful in getting people started to use our model or to adapt it for their own means. So we've learned a huge amount over the time we've existed, often through making mistakes, and equally as often from learning from others, particularly from SUMA actually, who are here today. We've learned an awful lot from them, and we'd love to share that knowledge. Like all the co-ops that are here today, we'd like to help demonstrate that being a co-op can have amazing results and create businesses that are not only financially sustainable but create social good both within and without of their organisations that is difficult to measure in economic terms. So I'll finish there really. I'm delighted to be here. I'm very grateful to be asked, and on behalf of Unicorn I'd like to wish you all the best in growing and strengthening a cooperative economy for Ireland.